my skin. I've got you. So deep in my lungs that you
Welcome to Probably Offensive, another chilling, exciting episode. I am your host, Anthony Scott Dover, and we are on another COVID update, or I'm going to give you another COVID update. We're not on another COVID update, but it almost seems like we've never stopped with the coronavirus ever since it started back in the wintertime. Actually, it's been half a year of coronavirus news, coronavirus effect. You know, it's the way it's hitting everybody. But so far, and these stats or numbers come from Johns Hopkins Medical Center, Johns Hopkins University, one of the top universities and medical facilities in the United States. They keep track of all the COVID cases throughout the world, not just here in the U.S., but I'm just giving you numbers from the U.S., not the whole world. 4.6 million cases have been recorded so far in the U.S. This is according to John Hopkins. 4.6 million cases and 154,000 deaths. By the time you hear this, this will be 155,000. So we're still dealing with the coronavirus, and frankly, I'm surprised. The coronavirus is going so strong. Back when we first heard about it back in February, some of you may have heard about it in January, but nobody was that concerned about it. Nobody seemed to be that concerned about it. I think I heard about it the first time in February, but I didn't think by August. It is the second day of August today. I certainly did not think by August we would still be dealing with the coronavirus. I thought they would the spread of it would be down, and that the well, I didn't know about a vaccine. I know it's not that easy to just come up with vaccines just because you want to. That's what seems to be happening now. They just think they're going to come up with a vaccine just because they want to. I mean, I know doctors and scientists are working very hard on coming up with a vaccine, but Dr. Fauci did say that vaccines don't come about that quickly. There's a lot of trial and error and studying and testing, and usually don't come up with a vaccine for anything as quickly as they're thinking that they're going to come up with a vaccine for COVID. This virus has been front and center in the news and in the country, or in the world, really. For the past, like I said, over 6 months now. For the past 8 months, because it was reported to have hit the U.S. coming from China and spreading across the world back in January. So now we got I call it COVID now. I don't even call it COVID-19 anymore. I done got to the point where I'm shortening the shorten. Like the technical name for it is COVID-19. Which is a little bit shorter than saying coronavirus. But I've then shortened that and started calling it COVID. So no vaccine for COVID. The debate over whether the kids should go back to school or not, because usually, kids would be on a summer break right now from school. And at the end of the month, at the end of August, usually the school would start back up with kids going back to school. But the funny thing to me is that, they're shutting other things down, canceling Republican convention, Democratic convention, and, speaking politically, was already canceled. But, they're canceling different stuff. They're saying it's unsafe. But on the other hand, they're saying it's totally safe for you to send your kids back to school, which is nonsense. If it's not safe for all these other mass gatherings, it's not safe for the kids to go back to school. I know you would like to have your kids back in school. I would like to have my kid back in school. But I don't want her to go back to school if it's not safe. Even though my kid is only 6 years old. Her immune system has not been compromised by any other illnesses. So she takes vitamins, minerals, zinc, everything. She'd probably be fine. But, you're having a bunch of kids going into a building not social distancing because they're kids. They're not going to adhere to the social distancing. That's just what kids do. You can tell the kids, hey, you got to social distance. That first of all, they're going to be like, what the hell's that? They might not say that in those exact words, but that's what the kids are going to say. What is social? You can have kids wearing masks. They're probably going to pull their mask down several times while they're in school. And you got to be concerned for the teachers, because a lot of these teachers are 50, 60, 70 years old. I know a lot of you are saying, what is a 70-year-old doing still teaching in school? Well, what are 70-year-olds doing being president and 74 and running for president at 77 with Biden? So you can expect, if someone is going to be president and they're in their 70s, that someone is going to be teaching school and be in their 70s, and they're more at risk for contracting COVID than anybody, because they're going to be around a bunch of kids who are going to be carrying the virus. Some of these kids are going to be carrying it. You can't expect that none of the kids are going to be positive COVID carriers and not pass it on to teachers. So we can't just worry about kids. We also have to be concerned about the teachers. So that's my biggest concern, really, is that these kids may not have any symptoms at first. But, you got some kids who have had some illnesses that are some of the kids have had illnesses that have compromised their immune systems, and so they can't afford to catch COVID, and their parents have to know that and keep them out of the school. But those of us who have strong kids, they could still pass that virus. They could still contract it and pass it on to a teacher or bring it home. They could bring it home and give it to you, and maybe you have a compromised immune system if you're not an elderly person, and maybe you'll pass it to an elderly person. I seen one interview with a mother on TV who was saying that her mother lived with her and her daughter, so she didn't want the daughter to bring home COVID from school and then give it to her mother because that might kill her mother. You know, her mother was helping her take care of the kid. It was a single mother who worked, and her mother lived with her. She was helping her take care of the kid, and she was afraid the daughter would bring it home from school. So you can't really blame her for that. That's my concern too. Not that my kid's going to bring it home to me, because I'm pretty strong. Taking supplements and what have you. But the kid could bring it home to me, and I could pass it on to someone who's not pretty strong and doesn't take supplements or has had a compromised immune system because of some other illness, something else. And that is the concern that we all should be looking at. So I don't think we're ready for the kids to go back to school until the spread is down or we have a vaccine. I would love to have my kid back in school, but it sounds a little bit risky to me. So, in any case, I'm going to take a little break here. We'll be right back right after this.
You're listening to a man who's so sexy it's completely ridiculous. Mr. Anthony Scott Dover. Yummy.
Woo! All right. We're back. Here's something I never thought I'd say. And that is, it's been reported several times actually that the president, because it's a big deal, that's something that you've never heard or never thought you'd hear out of the media, and that is the president wants to delay the election. Yes, this upcoming election. He said that maybe we should delay it so that everybody can have a chance to show up at the polls. For some reason, he just hates the thought of mail-in ballots, which is no different from absentee ballots, which a lot of people do. Absentee ballots. For those of you who don't know what an absentee ballot is when you tell the Board of Elections that you don't think you're going to be home on that date and you'd like an absentee ballot, and they will send you the ballot. It's the same ballot that you would use when you go to the polls on November 3rd, only they send it to you in a giant envelope in the mail. You fill it out and you send it back. I think they give you an envelope with it to put it back into. So it's pretty simple. It's the same ballot. I've done it before. I voted absentee even though I wasn't absent. I don't think they give you too much hassle about it. They don't ask you a bunch of questions. You just tell them, I'd like an absentee ballot. Call the Board of Elections, and then if you're a registered voter, they'll send it to you. You know. So a lot of people have been using absentee ballots for years. Soldiers who are, not in town,